I agree with you. I think that's one of the main reasons to support Trump. Yes, there were some personnel mistakes. Those are always going to happen when you're appointing thousands of people to positions. We get that. But I agree with you. There's really no time right now for a learning curve. You need people in there who've experienced the debacle and are ready to clean it up. So I think that's a great point. And again, the pros and cons, that's a big pro. No doubt about it. Check out my podcast today, folks. Don't miss it.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-979-3060. 800-979-3060. 800-979-3060. That's 800-979-3060.
Braxton was diagnosed with choroid plexus carcinoma, a brain tumor. St. Jude is helping us put away our fears. We have an amazing team that fights for the best outcome for Braxton. He has the best chance here. I don't have to worry that how much is that bag of fluid going to cost me? Can I afford it to save my child's life? The donations, they're paying for me to live every day with my son, be stress-free, and enjoy every day with him. I wish there was a word bigger than thank you, more close to the heart, because thank you's not enough. They've given me hope. They've given me my son.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. The Trump political team is facing the possibility of running a presidential campaign and dealing with a criminal trial at the same time. White House correspondent Greg Clugston has this report from New York.
If the grand jury and DA here in Manhattan decide to indict the former president, Trump aides will have their hands full. The president writes in an email to supporters that no matter what happens, the 2024 campaign will go on. He's already trying to turn a possible indictment into a political advantage, but the campaign could face some logistical challenges as it navigates the political calendar and a legal process at the same time. Greg Clugston, New York.
Also at townhall.com, on Capitol Hill, the CEO of TikTok, Shouzi Chu, has made a high-profile appearance before a U.S. congressional committee to make the case for why the hugely popular video-sharing app should not be banned. In consumer news, more than 500,000 vehicles are being recalled. It's because of a fire risk. Rita Foley has more.
Hyundai and Kia are recalling thousands of late-model SUVs and minivans because the tow hitch harnesses can catch fire while the vehicles are being driven or even while they're parked. Hyundai and Kia are warning owners to park the vehicles outside. The Hyundai recall includes the Santa Fe from 2019 through 2023, the Santa Fe Hybrid from 2021 to 2023, and the Santa Cruz, model years 2022 and 2023. The only Kia affected is the Carnival minivan from 2022 and 2023. Neither automaker has reports of injuries. I'm Rita Foley.
And it's been a shaky day, but stocks are now higher. The Dow up 43 points. The Nasdaq ahead 131. More at townhall.com.
If you have an IRA or 401k, please listen closely. My name is Jason Hansen. I'm a former CIA officer and New York Times bestselling author. Throughout my career, let's just say I've been in some hairy situations. And I believe right now the biggest threat facing Americans is they need to protect their wealth, which is exactly what I'm doing for my wife and 6 kids. And I believe the ultimate safe haven is physical gold and silver. You can protect your hard-earned retirement assets with a tax-free loophole that allows you to convert your retirement into physical gold and silver. The folks I use are Advantage Gold, and believe me, I've investigated the heck out of all types of people. Advantage Gold is the nation's highest rated gold company. They have the best process, pricing, and service. If you want to get your free gold and silver investment kit, please contact Advantage Gold right now, and you'll see how easy it is to protect yourself with precious metals. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
Call 800.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by The Dental Link. Call Dr. Alan Link today, 314-794-6464 to schedule your free consultation. Offices in Baldwin and Melville, 314-794-6464. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Temperatures have already topped off in the 60s this morning. We'll be dropping into the 50s late this afternoon and the 40s by this evening, accompanied by some showers and thunderstorms, and some locally heavy rain is possible. Overnight lows tonight, much colder, down into the upper 30s, and a high tomorrow of only 47 degrees with scattered showers and a few thunderstorms. It does look drier for the weekend. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
When it's important to you, stay informed. It's on News Talk STL.
And if you put me back in the White House, COVID-19.
Department of Energy, FBI says it came from a lab.
The president's budget. Raise more taxes, spends more money.
MAGA Republican.
Our banking system is sound.
Unsafe actions by Russian pilots.
News, analysis, and opinion.
Twitter was basically an FBI subsidiary. If the alarm bells are not going off,
1019 and 94.1,
then you're not paying attention.
News Talk STL. Talk radio made in St. Louis.
Very excited for what you guys are doing for the St. Louis community.
For St. Louis.
Relevant local talk.
Saying what we are thinking.
This is News Talk STL.
No, you guys are awesome. I love you. And it's a tremendous honor to be on the station.
News, analysis, and opinion.
Thanks for covering the local angle.
Come on, people. This is America.
We better open our eyes.
Really local, really good.
News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and newstalkstl.com. So many ways to listen to News Talk STL.
Come join the conversation.
Enable our Alexa skill. Hey, Alexa, play News Talk STL.
Welcome to News Talk STL, conservative talk radio for St. Louis.
Always streaming at newstalkstl.com or on your radio at 1019, 94.1, and 99.1 HD3. News Talk STL. News, analysis, and opinion. Welcome home. This hour of Colombo and Katie brought to you by Gutter Pros. Water goes where we tell it. Call 314-656-7195 or visit them at gutterpros.com. Tony Colombo.
Libertarianism is all about individual liberty.
Katie Fitzpatrick.
Oh, good for you.
Colombo and Katie on News Talk STL.
Time to rise has been engaged. We're better, best to rearrange. I'm talking here to me alone. I listen to the finest work song. Your finest hour. Your finest hour.
Hello and welcome to Thursday afternoon here on Colombo and Katie on 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. I am Tony Colombo. My partner is Katie Fitzpatrick. And it's getting gray out there, and it's going to rain for 2 days.
It is getting gray?
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
It was gray this morning. It was surely gray this morning.
Definitely getting gray.
But still nice. It was so nice outside.
I know.
I mean, it's sticky, but it's like, it feels good.
Sticky?
Yeah, it feels sticky.
You had some you felt the humidity?
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah?
You did. It felt like really sticky, like moist, and I mean, just because it's about to rain.
About to rain for 2 days, but
man,
I know.
Oh, man.
But, oh, man.
Oh, man.
Come on, man.
Come on.
But it is getting warmer, like you said, and that is fantastic. And I'm still digging. Look, I left for my vacation on the daylight savings day.
Mm-hmm.
So like, when you drive to Florida and you're in a different state and you're in a different time zone and you're in new settings, like you don't really realize that it's lighter longer because you don't know how light it was, like when to expect sunset there anyway.
Sure.
So like it wasn't until we got back here and I was working this week. I'm like literally 3 days into daylight savings.
Oh, man. Oh, wow. Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, like it's still like brand new to me and I'm loving it.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah,
Loving
you
it.
You were gone.
Yeah, it was literally the day we drove to Florida was the daylight savings day.
Man, yeah, that's been a game changer.
Oh my goodness.
Game changer.
I freaking love it. Yeah, it's still pretty fresh to me.
It's so great. It's so weird how in tune kids are to something like that, to like that kind of switch. I mean, everyone's like, babies don't know about that stuff. Maeve definitely knows.
Yeah.
Like, she definitely is like, it's light outside. I'm still here to boogie.
It's so great. It's so much
I
better.
love it.
The people that don't want that to happen, the people who appreciate a 4:30 in the afternoon sunset, like, hey, it's 4:45. Of course it's supposed to be pitch black outside. I don't even want to know you.
But
I don't want to have anything to do with you.
I do have to say, and I believe someone told us right before, maybe Steve Templeton said this, waking up in the morning is so difficult right now. It is so difficult because you open your eyes and your alarm clock goes off and you're like, it's got to be like 3 a.m.
Yeah,
it's got to be 3 or 4.
Right.
And it's like
Nope.
6:30 and
Yep.
you're like, why is that? But that also we'll have a sunrise.
Small
that
price to
happens.
pay.
True. I agree.
Small price to pay.
I agree.
If you like it being dark at 4:45 in the afternoon,
something's wrong with you.
I just don't even want to know who you are.
What do you think about Never mind. Never mind.
No, what?
Never mind. This is so stupid.
Let's do it.
What do you think about adults that use the term me likey? Because
What?
Because
Where the hell did that come from?
I'm sorry. I feel like I'm pulling a Chris Arps here.
Where?
And just,
Well, how do I feel out of nowhere? The question is, how do I feel about adults that use the term me likey? Okay, all right. Didn't see this one.
Because you said it feels good outside right now. And
Yeah.
like, that's great.
And you
I
were
was
about
gonna
to say me likey?
and I've never said that in the entirety.
I have never heard you say it.
I have never
I'll
said
give
that.
you credit. I
Ever.
will back you up there.
Never.
I've
But
never-
for some reason,
Had you
in
have
that
said me
instance-
likey, it would have stood out.
For
Me
some reason,
likey.
in that instance, I thought to myself, I'm going to say me likey. And then I was like, no, I don't know if I like adults that say that term. And so I'm wondering how
Yeah.
you felt about a grown adult saying, like, if you're
I'm
like,
not a fan of it.
this shrimp is great.
Me likey. It's even worse when a guy says it. It's even grosser when a guy says it.
I don't know about it.
Hey, hon, what do you think of my shirt? Me likey. Mm-mm.
And that's exactly how I was thinking about it, too. Why did I think that was going to be okay? I'm glad I stopped myself.
I am too.
This is stupid. This is so dumb. I hate me some days.
Me likey.
Me like. Oh, God. Oh, God. Okay. Yeah, right. This is what
And,
happens
like,
when
in
you and I
less-
don't see each
in
other for
less
a
than
week.
10 minutes. We are going to talk to a man who was the campaign chief, the communications officer for the president of the United States.
You should be asking him.
He's going to be on this show in less than 10 minutes. How's that even? Me likey.
Should we ask him what he? No, don't.
No, yeah. Mark, what do you think about?
Hey, Mark. Hey, Marker. What'd you think?
What do you think about adults? Did President Trump ever say me likey? Hey, Mark, where do you stand on Meatball Ron? Okay. I don't know what to do. I have stories to do, but I don't know how to get into them. I don't know how to be taken seriously. Now, hey, Mark.
Okay. What'd you think about Meatball?
Where do you stand on the term "me likey"? What do you think he does then? Just hangs up the phone, right? I mean, that's what you do. You calling in? Oh, I'm calling into this news talk station in St. Louis. You know, we're going to have a serious conversation. Me likey. I mean, you just hang up the phone, right? You just hang up the phone, look at the guy next to you, and be like, I don't know, I guess it was the wrong number.
What the hell was that?
Yeah.
I can't stop
And you move on. You move on.
Oh.
Here, let's do this one, because I love this story.
Okay.
I love this story. This will make you feel good.
Okay.
Usually I do these blood-boiling stories about this time of the show, but this one will actually, this is actually a little bit of karma, and it feels good. Liberals melt down after far-left journalist blasts birthing person type language. Okay, again, I love this. Are you familiar with the Young Turks? Mm-hmm. Okay. Uber progressive. Mm-hmm. Uber left-wing progressive. I don't even like to call them news outlet.
No.
Although they are like on like when you get like a satellite package, TV package. Or
They come with it.
It like right there with the news stations.
Yeah, that is so bizarre.
I totally agree. But it started, I think, as a YouTube channel years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it is known for being an extremely left-wing, progressive organization that covers the news and politics from a left of Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, it's actually really wild.
Position. However, as I've said before, this is the dangers of saying that somebody has to be all in to be on your team. That we've talked about this a million times, that so many people on the far left, if you don't agree with them 100% of the time, and the problem is everybody's got a little bit of different opinion. So you don't even know which is the right answer sometimes, depending on who you're talking to. But if you don't agree with that person or somebody, that is that far gone, 100% of the time, you are an enemy. And not just against them. Like, you are their enemy. You can agree with me 90% of the time, but because of that 10% that you don't agree with me, I can't even look at you. I can't even talk to you. You are that despised of a villain in my eyes. That's how far. This is the dangers of doing that, is that there's no way for everybody to always keep up. There's no way for everybody to always agree 100% of the time, so you're going to always be turning on each other. You're always going to be turning on your own because somebody doesn't have the exact same thoughts as you. Progressives have turned on the Young Turks co-host Anna Kasparian, I think is how you say her last name, something close to that, after she called transgender inclusive language degrading to women.
Yes.
She said, which I'm not sure that she said that exactly, but anyway, here's exactly what she did say. Quote, "I'm a woman. Please don't ever refer to me as a person with a uterus, birthing person, or person who menstruates. How do people not realize how degrading that is? You can support transgender and the transgender community without doing this S word." Here is the response on Twitter and on social media.
My blood is boiling. I thought you said this was going to be
from the left wing. Didn't realize the Young Turks was right wing now.
Oh my gosh.
Right wing!
Get a grip, people.
Quote, "Those words are meant for AFAB people as a category, not individual people. Get a grip." That's from MSNBC contributor Caitlin Burns. That's an MSNBC contributor mad at the Young Turks for being right wing, for being too far to the right. Some guy named Mike Figueredo, he's a host of a leftist political news show, claimed that the Young Turks was using a play, quote, right out of the right's anti-trans war on women playbook. Anti-trans war on women.
Reality out the window. We are not living in reality.
But do you think that Anna Kasparian is not having a huge wake-up call to the type of people that she has talked to and the type of mindset that she has helped build over all these years? That all of a sudden, as a woman, she's like, look, I'm a woman. Don't call me a person who menstruates. That's gross and degrading. That thought is an example of the right wing's war on women.
It is so wild.
But her and her kind are the ones that have created this mindset.
Yes.
And have propped up these people who hold these extreme beliefs and who kick people out or boycott or cancel people for saying anything. Now here she is getting canceled because she said, don't call me a birthing person, call me a woman because I'm a woman.
It's the mob mentality that we always talk about. And don't get me wrong, we always do this, but there is the mob mentality that happens on the right as well. But but not to the level, I believe, not to the level ever of the left.
Not right now, certainly.
Not to the level of the left. And this is something, a personal experience of this, of someone that I know and that I love dearly, who I would consider pretty left-leaning. Something like this happened to a person that I really care about, where they have agreed with the left mentality up until this one circumstance, and they wrote about this one circumstance, and they went after
canceled
they went after my friend
canceled.
Full force. And it's the back and forth between this person that I know and the rest of this group of others that they usually get along with was like, my friend was like, dude, why are you coming after me? Why are you fighting me so hard? Like, we've always been in agreement.
No offense to your friend, that person, but he did it to himself because they built this community. Yeah, you promote and you join up with everybody who decides they're going to cancel somebody or boycott somebody because they found one tweet from 10 years ago.
You're with us or against us.
Yeah, or you just don't agree with, like I said, 100%. You can agree with, if you agree with me 99 out of 100 times, that's not good enough. You're still my enemy unless you agree with me 100% of the time. So when this happens, when somebody who's built that and been in that community and supported that community and propped up that community, all of a sudden says something crazy like,
don't
call me a woman.
Don't call me a birthing person.
Yeah, don't call me a person with a uterus. Just call me a woman because I'm a woman. All of a sudden, that's promoting anti-trans war, right-wing war on women.
Well, and I know this is a side note to that
you
point.
You did it. You helped create.
And they promoted it on the Young Turks.
Yeah, you celebrated this mob, this group of people, the people who preach tolerance. That's another part. That's another part that makes you want to throw up. Is these are the people that preach tolerance. In fact, one person warned this Young Turks broadcaster. Right when she said it, somebody tweeted her and said, "Your side is going to come after you for saying what you just said. Prepare yourself for the tolerance."
I love that. Holy moly, I love that. But this is like a separate point to this whole entire argument, but more people that have that platform on that side of the aisle that have cultivated, as you just said, that have influenced this mob mentality, they need to start saying stuff like that, because they're certainly not listening to Fox News. They're certainly not listening to this radio station where we're saying, stop. We can't. Why are you guys trying so hard to break a woman down? Why are you trying so hard to erase women and what it means to be a woman? So to me, I understand the takeaway from this, but my other takeaway is those airwaves are the places that they need to be preaching this kind of common sense. Because my God, we are not living in reality anymore if people are being mad because I don't want to call myself a birthing person or chest feeding. I'm not playing that game. No, I just had a baby.
You're right.
I'm not talking about women who menstruate. People who menstruate. I'm
just
saying
say
women.
Woman. Just say woman.
It's not that complicated.
Just call me
a woman.
A woman because I'm a woman. That's what I'm saying women should say, not me. I'm not saying I'm.
You're not saying that.
We are going to talk to Mark Lauder, the former director of strategic communications for the Trump 2020 campaign and the America First Policy Institute's chief communications officer. We're going to talk about the TikTok hearings, the 2024 race, and many other things with Mark Lauder in just a moment here on Colombo and Katie on 119 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
I got a good job at the dollar store.
You're listening to Colombo and Katie. Follow Tony Colombo on Twitter at Tony Colombo Talk.
Things are changing.
News, analysis, opinion.
Silicon Valley Bank.
The violent crime in this nation.
Food prices persistently high.
Fentanyl is a weapon of mass destruction.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
So you guys have heard me talk about our old home and the process of moving into our new house and what a great process it was. One of the few things that we miss terribly about our old home is the deck that we had just had built a few years ago from STL Fence Works. In fact, we're already talking to STL Fence Works at our new house about hopefully one day getting another new deck put on the back of our home because it was our favorite place in the whole house was the deck that was built by STL Fence Works. It was absolutely beautiful and maintenance free and just the spot to entertain or hang out outside, especially with this time of year coming with the temperatures turning around and things warming up. You're going to be spending more time outside. What a perfect time to get a deck or a leisure space from STL Fence Works. Of course, also they can build you fences and gates, gate operators, access systems, all of those things can be done for you at the top-notch quality that STL Fence Works provides. If you would like to learn more, you can call them at 636-669-1608 or just check them out at stlfenceworks.com.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. Doug and Safe Money Radio is on 3 times every weekend, but in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com or call 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
There are hundreds of thousands of people that are trying to come to this country illegally. This president has allowed roughly more than 1 million to come. You normally don't think of people coming to go to a place that's like a prison, to a place that is thought of as a place of injustice.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 3:30 on News Talk STL.
This is the perfect time to take care of your home. Mike Ferguson here from my friends at Window World. Their number is 314-993-1800. Improve your home with Window World's double-strength glass windows. They come with a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. 314-993-1800. Get a free in-home estimate. Window World is the preferred window of the St. Louis Blues. 314-993-1800 or windowworld.com.
The White House Report, brought to you by Gutter Pros. Water goes where we tell it. Call 314-656-7195 or visit them at gutterpros.com.
Welcome back to...
Oh,
yeah. Boom. Boom. Oh, Mark Lauder's on hold. We gotta clean up this show.
You gotta act right.
We gotta get this thing back on track. Too much silliness to be taken seriously. I will not ask him about me likey.
Please don't.
I promise not to. We do have with us on the phone, back on the show this afternoon, the Chief Communications Officer at America First Policy Institute, former Director of Strategic Communications for the Trump 2020 campaign, former Special Counselor for the President and for Vice President Mike Pence. The introduction is long and distinguished, and we certainly appreciate always Mark Lauder's time on the show. Mark, thanks again for your time this afternoon. How's it going?
Thank you. I don't even want to know what that earlier conversation was about.
You don't.
I'll just say that Katie asked a question about adults that use the term "me likey," and it was an awkward conversation, Mark. It was not anything I liked being a part of.
Yeah, it's awkward just hearing it. Yeah.
Sorry, y'all.
So, Mark, lots to talk about. I wanted to start with the TikTok hearing and get your thoughts on that, because this is not something that I've spent a whole lot. We've spent a whole lot of time covering on this show. I mean, we've talked about it here and there, but I just have a hard time believing that this isn't more than just trying to make a point. The actual removing of TikTok just seems to me, and maybe I'm just ignorant on this situation, I'm very much willing to admit that, but it just seems to me like the idea of going that far to remove TikTok is not going to happen, so it makes it hard for me to pay very close attention to. I'd love to get your thoughts on this and get any updates or ideas that you have.
Well, I mean, I think ultimately we have to take the step of getting rid of TikTok. I mean, it is a direct threat to the privacy, security of just about everyone in our country. To the point that even if you have the TikTok app on your phone, and your contacts, all your emails, your family, all of that's now it's now in the Chinese government's hands. Your bank account information, all in the Chinese government's hands. And, whether they choose to act on it or not, well, do you really want to trust the Chinese, the same people who released COVID onto the world and lied about it? So the fact of the matter is that, we proved, it was proven under President Trump via a court order that the president does not have unilateral authority to be able to ban TikTok. Congress is now in a bipartisan fashion talking about passing a law to give the president that power, and that's fine. It needs to be exercised.
And just to be clear, I agree with you completely. I'm no supporter of TikTok. I think that they steal people's data. I think that they have a negative impact. I would love to see them go. Wouldn't cry one tear for the loss of TikTok. I just, knowing how prevalent it is in the American society and all the people that are participating on it and all the people that are using it to even, to make money, or some of them as their jobs. Just something at that level, trying to remove something that's so ingrained, seems to me, I just don't trust the government to be able to get something as complicated as that done. So I'm on your side when I say, I agree. It does need to go or be extremely, changed and cleaned up. But I just don't see a world where we actually get there. Am I being too pessimistic?
No, I think we can get there. And I think, obviously, the federal government has a lot of power in this area, whether it's, not only deplatforming the app itself, but then also, once Google and Apple take it off of their marketplaces and you basically can deactivate it through there, whether you still have it on your phone or not. And, I know it might cause some disruption to some folks, but, we've migrated. I mean, my goodness, Facebook was the greatest thing, and then it moved to be to Twitter, then to Instagram, and my goodness, I'm old enough to to remember MySpace. Yeah. So we can, I'm sure people will move and migrate to the to the next platform, and their businesses will they'll transition pretty quickly.
Mark, what do you think about the company saying that there's going to be a 60-minute default time limit on screen time of using the app? Do you like the concept of something like that, where a social media company can determine how much time you spend on their social media platform, whether it be TikTok or Facebook or Twitter?
Well, I mean, ultimately, I think that's the parents' job to decide that. But to me, this is nothing more than basic PR 101. Distract from the real conversation by starting a new one. TikTok is doing whatever it can to project itself as not being the pervasive influence that it is. And so while they deny the data stuff, and they're going to say, look what we're going to do to protect kids, we can't forget about the data stuff. and having an argument about whether it should be 30 minutes, an hour and a half, or not at all, it should just be gone.
Talking to Mark Lauder, he's the Chief Communications Officer at America First Policy Institute, and also someone that has worked with Donald Trump at very high levels. I wanted to get your thoughts. I want to blend into the 2024 race here in a minute, but I want to get your thoughts overall on what's been the latest drama surrounding Donald Trump and the Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg, and the situation that we stand right now with that whole situation.
Well, I mean, the thing, first and foremost, I mean, this is the poster child for government weaponization. I mean, I remember, Barack Obama, hid donors and kept the money, and in his 2008 campaign, and he was fined like $350,000. Hillary Clinton funded the dirty dossier. There was a Jeb Bush super PAC that was literally accepting illegal money tied to China. They were fined $390,000. So the fact that, this DA in New York is trying to prosecute a case that the feds, the federal government, the Department of Justice, and the FEC wouldn't bring, just shows you just how weak it is. And I think what we see coming out today, yesterday, now that DA is suddenly changing his tune, I mean, what is the old saying among lawyers? It's like a good lawyer with even a halfway decent case could prosecute a ham sandwich. I think it shows you that he's not bringing these charges, or doesn't look like he is now. Shows just how weak and bad this case would be.
You are exactly right. We've even heard rumors that there are attorneys in the office that are threatening to leave if they go forward with this because they know how much time and reputation it's wasting. Couldn't agree more. But from the position of put yourself back in campaign mode, running a presidential campaign, I know it's really early. Obviously so much is going to influence the 2024 election, but there can't be a bigger gift than what's happening for Donald Trump right now from that standpoint, which I think makes the Manhattan DA look even more ridiculous, in that Ron DeSantis and Mike Pence and people that are going to probably be Donald Trump's competitors in the next election are coming to his defense and support because of how ridiculous these things are. I would imagine this is great for the momentum of Donald Trump and his message as he campaigns to be president again.
Well, and I think when you look at it, whether it's the spying on the campaign, the dirty dossier, the Russia collusion, 2 impeachments. I mean, my goodness. I mean, every day there is a great number of those on the radical woke left that wake up and say, today's the day we get him. And yet they fail over and over and over and over again. But, and so the political side of it, I get that side, and I think you're absolutely right. But the larger reason why the Mike Pences, the Ron DeSantises, and the rest of the potential candidates are out there saying the same thing is because the weaponization of government is real. And it's a concern among conservatives. They are seeing it, whether, in time and time again, things, go back to, mask mandates and no parties allowed over more than 4 people, except for Democrat governors in California and others who can go off and have their little fine dining parties without masks. I mean, we can go through this entire laundry list of items where it's rules for thee, not for me. And if you do, you'll be canceled, you'll be targeted. And that's what this is really all about. And so whomever the nominee eventually is going to be, and we'll figure all that out over the next year, the one thing I think they'll all be talking about is that we've got to have the same rules for everyone.
Amen.
And that it's not 2 tiers of justice, not 2 tiers of what's allowed, and that the Democrats and the radical libs and the elitists can do one thing, that the rest of us hardworking Americans can't.
Couldn't agree more, and you are so right. And speaking of government overreach, something that we libertarians, Republicans, conservatives have been sticking up for and screaming about states' rights. I'm so glad that we're talking about this because I don't know if you saw this as kind of a footnote in the whole story right now, but the DA in Manhattan there, Alvin Bragg, responded to Jim Jordan's letter about testifying in front of Congress and all of that. And he gave this litany of reasons why he wasn't going to do that and why it was inappropriate for Congress to ask, one of which was Bragg's office said that the lawmaker's request was, quote, an unlawful incursion on New York's sovereignty. Now they want states' rights. Now they're against government overreach when it is targeted at them. Mark, I thought that was so ironic and funny to hear somebody on the left crying states' rights when all of a sudden the tables are turned.
Oh, absolutely. And, the funny thing is, though, is that the same rule applies, because Congress, through many administrations, multiple decades of both parties, do all of the funding for all of these things. It's like you get funding from us, you get before us, whether it's schools, whether it's healthcare, whether it's the justice system, whether it's police, conduct. So much money is flow through the federal government, which gives them the right, or I can just pull your funding, and you can't do any of that. And a lot of states can't afford that, especially a broke state like New York.
Almost out of time here with Mark Lauder. Before we do run out of time, Mark, I want to one last time kind of put you back in that campaign mindset. How important is this stage of the campaign? Are we so far away from Election Day that the things that happen right now don't have that much influence? Or are these campaigns, or the campaigns that are getting ready to get started, are they taking every day as seriously as they would maybe even a year from now?
Well, the difference is right now in campaign mode, most of your most important actions are taking place behind the scenes and not on camera. This is the time when you are lining up operatives and key leaders and endorsements in Iowa. And yeah, you're making the trip to Iowa, you're making the trip to New Hampshire, but you want to line up the top political people in that state to be supportive of you. Same thing in South Carolina. You're meeting with donors. You're doing all the things that you need to actually run a successful campaign that is not necessarily public facing right now. Most of that is behind the scenes, but I would think here, in the summertime, you'll have the full field. Whoever's going to be in is going to be in, and then you'll start seeing that more public activity because that's when the countdown is on. I mean, we're still 10, 11 months away from the first votes being cast in Iowa and New Hampshire.
And Mark Lauder is, of course, also the Chief Communications Officer at America First Policy Institute. Mark, for folks that haven't made themselves familiar with your organization and all the things that you're working on, please remind folks where they can get all those details.
AmericaFirstPolicy.com. In fact, right now we've had an all-day national security symposium talking about the big issues from China, Russia, Ukraine, Homeland Security, all of that stuff all day with leaders in Congress, leaders in the America First movement. It's streaming live, AmericaFirstPolicy.com, or you can go to A1 Policy Twitter, find us on Facebook and all the other social media spots.
Mark Lauder, I really always appreciate your time and look forward to talking to you again very soon. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Yeah, great stuff there from Mark Lauder, as always. And I have a story here that we'll do in just a second that makes me look foolish. Well, I'm always screaming at the top of my lungs about how we need more parties and how the Republicans and Democrats don't accurately represent people. And I talk about being libertarian, and I talk about needing third and fourth parties.
It's going to prove you wrong.
Here's a reason why we'll never get that.
I thought you were going to start off that sentence being like, I'm always right about everything.
Nope, this proves why I'm wrong, and I'll tell you that story in just a moment and more. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Colombo and Katie on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Oh, yeah. Feels good inside. Flip on the
Larry Connors, USA.
It's not uncommon today for young people to try out different labels in search of their truth.
In search of their truth or following your indoctrination.
Larry Connors.
Which came first?
Weeknights at 6 on News Talk STL.
So right before we left on vacation last week, we had the fine folks at Zero Res out at our house, and it was great to come home to all that clean furniture after our vacation. Thanks to Zero Res, we've had Zero Res out We had them out a bunch at our old house. We even had them at the rental house that we were living in between the two houses. They've already been at our new house a couple of times. We love Zero Res in the Colombo household. And right now, you can do exactly what we did and get the jump on spring cleaning by calling Zero Res today and telling them that you would like to take advantage of the Colombo Special. The Colombo Special right now is if you book a cleaning with Zero Res, you can get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned at starting at just $119. Plus, they will throw in a free hallway and take $75 off an air duct cleaning. That is incredible. That is an amazing deal. 3 rooms of carpet starting at just $119 with a free hallway thrown in, plus the ability to take $75 off an air duct cleaning if you'd like. What a great way to get your house clean and ready for spring, recover from the winter and all the salt and the water and snow that were drug into your house and stamped out in your carpet, holiday parties, anything else that happened over the winter. What a great way to get things cleaned up right now by taking advantage of the Colombo Special at Zero Res. All you have to do is call them at 314-474-2020 or book online anytime at ZeroResSTL.com. That's ZeroResSTL.com. Just make sure you mention the Colombo Special. And don't forget, you can spell it forward or backward. It spells the same, Zero Res.
Report cards are a good way to show how well your kids are doing in class and where they might need improvement. We at the Show Me Institute believe schools should get grades too, so parents can see how their child's school compares to others. That's why we came up with the Missouri School Rankings Project. Click on the website moschoolrankings.org and it's all there. Rankings and letter grades for all the schools in Missouri. The rankings are based on categories such as student performance in English language arts and math, ACT scores, and graduation rates. Then we take the rankings and come up with a grade point average, just like your child has. Each school and district has a grade, and the website is easy to use. And now we've added spending data for every district, so parents, taxpayers, and policymakers can see where the money is going. Don't you want to know how your child's school stacks up? Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Do you live in St. Charles County? Then you can get Mid-Rivers News Magazine delivered free to your home just by asking for it. Mid-Rivers News Magazine is the only print source for the political, school, business, and sports news happening in your hometown. Simply visit midriversnewsmagazine.com/subscribe to get a copy delivered to your mailbox. Or you can pick up a free copy at all area Deerbergs and Schnuck stores. Mid-Rivers News Magazine. Anybody who wants it gets it. Anybody who gets it wants it. Subscribe for free today.
This hour of Colombo and Katie brought to you by Gutter Pros. Water goes where we tell it. Call 314-656-7195 or visit them at gutterpros.com.
Somewhere they're speaking, it's already coming in.
Welcome back to Colombo and Katie on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Great conversation just a moment ago. Wrapped up with Mark Lauder, the Chief Communications Officer at the America First Policy Institute, former special consultant for President Donald Trump and Vice President Mike Pence. He ran Trump's presidential campaign. Great stuff from him. If you missed any of it, make sure you check out our podcast. You can download our podcast or subscribe to our podcast on basically every podcast platform. All you got to do is search Colombo and Katie, and you'll find us. And subscribe to us. We're on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Google, and many, many more. Make sure you are subscribed to the Colombo and Katie podcast. We put the show out as a podcast shortly after we get off the air every day. And you can also subscribe to the Colombo and Katie YouTube channel, at least while it lasts, because they're dropping like flies around here.
Sure are.
Okay. Oh, wanted to remind folks, we had originally promoted that we were going to have Christian Daytalk on today. Christian is, of course, the White House correspondent with the Washington Examiner, and he usually is with us every Thursday afternoon, but he's a busy guy, and there's a lot going on at the White House, and the press corps got called into something, or maybe the press briefing was late today or whatever it was, but that got in the way. The White House, once again, got in our way, and so Christian was unable to join us, but he'll be back with us very, very soon. We will connect with him, and it was great to have Mark Lauder on this afternoon. And also, coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to have Jason Thornton, the host of Pocket Watching with JT. We'll get our weekly dose of common sense financial advice. We'll talk to him a little bit about the Fed's interest rate raise, and that will be in just about 15 minutes from now, just after 3 o'clock. Okay, I can't put it off any longer. This is why I cannot win when arguing for more parties.
Oh, boy.
Do you know who the latest person to announce that he is running for president in 2024 in the Libertarian Party is?
The latest person running? No,
there was an
I don't
announcement
know.
made this week by somebody who is running for president, and they're running as a libertarian.
Oh my goodness, who is it? I have no idea. I don't even have a guess.
Joe Exotic, a.k.a.
Perfect.
the Tiger King.
Yes! Let's make it a 3-ring circus, people. Let's go.
This is why libertarians cannot be taken seriously. Now, thank goodness that the Libertarian Party is completely outspoken against this. Like, look, just because he's saying that he's a libertarian and he's putting the L behind his name, the Libertarian Party does not support or endorse Joe the Tiger King in any way.
Because you can't.
But it does. It is another.
It does the movement really bad.
It's another black eye.
It's real bad.
On the idea of actually getting real attention as a libertarian candidate or any other third-party candidate. But here we go. Netflix star Joey. Oh, and not only is the Tiger King running for president, he's doing so from jail. He's in prison. He's in prison for the next, 20 years.
And he's like, I'm going to get everything
running
right.
For president.
Don't worry about it.
He announced his candidacy to run for president, but the Libertarian Party is not taking his campaign seriously. The Tiger King was incarcerated in 2018 on murder-for-hire charges, filed Federal Election Commission documents in late February to run as a Libertarian presidential candidate in 2024 under the slogan, oh, God.
Let's hear it. Let her rip.
Make America exotic.
This has got to be...
He swears that this is dead serious.
He's scheming in the jailhouse rock because he's like, I got nothing else to do.
He said, Joe the Tiger King says, quote, put aside that I'm gay and that I'm in prison for now, that Listen, here's the statement. Put aside that I'm gay, that I'm in prison for now, that I used drugs in the past, that I had more than one boyfriend at once, and that Carol Baskin hates my guts.
Carol Baskin!
This all has not a thing to do with me being able to be your voice. The best thing you have going for supporting me is that I'm used to fighting my whole life just to get by. I am broke. They have taken everything I ever worked for away, and it's time we take this country back.
Just forget about it. Forget
That's the statement.
all of my past discrepancies.
He has
and look at me now.
20 years left on his prison sentence.
So, you know what? And in all seriousness, not about Joe Exotic. Not about him. But in all seriousness, who would be the person that would make something like that party work? I mean, who would be someone that would be
a real libertarian, like Mike Lee or Rand Paul, like the libertarians that are in the Republican Party.
But, Joe Jorgensen. That was a person that ran.
That was exactly the person who ran. Great job.
That happened.
In the less than 1% of Americans that can name the Libertarian presidential candidate.
And was that a serious candidate?
Yeah, very much so.
And because I think that's where it gets for someone. I mean, like you and I have this discussion a lot. Like, I mean, I don't know. I probably am more of like a moderate conservative, but I definitely have libertarian leanings to me.
Yep.
But when I hear that, it's not that the party shouldn't be taken seriously. I would, in fact, I would love to see more things like this. But I think a lot of people don't know what to expect from that party because there's never been a face to the name.
Well, that's it. There's no expectation, and there's no expectation of winning. Jo Jorgensen never thought that she would win. Certainly not. No libertarian thought that she was going to win.
Mm-hmm.
But having that voice, trying to fight for those candidates to at least be able to participate in debates and to be on stage with the Republicans and the Democrats, trying to, just put those messages and thoughts out there. And here's a little bit different way of thinking. Again, there's 350 million Americans. You don't all fall into two columns.
Absolutely.
Like, it's just impossible. You don't all fall into 3 or 4 columns either. But I just feel like I've always thought that more parties would be, more choice on representation would be a positive. But when you got freaking Tiger King running for president as a libertarian,
just
and he'll get more than whatever serious, real libertarian presidential candidate, they won't get a tenth of the publicity as Joey.
And I have to say this too.
The Tiger King.
The Tiger King with Carol Baskin.
Never watched an episode. Have no idea about any of it.
Yeah, but this is where we do a disservice to, like, we start Netflix series like this, Joe Exotic, and then we propel them to this crazy level of fame where they think in the jailhouse they can go ahead and run to be the next president of the United States. Forget about it. Forget about it. We did this.
Tiger King may actually be more popular than President Biden, though. If you think about it.
Forget about everything that happened with Tiger King.
The president's approval rating has once again sank. Oh, you know what? One more thing about the Tiger King. I want to make sure I don't misrepresent his thoughts. But I think he said that he would vote for President Biden over Ron DeSantis. Also
why would that be?
Here, hold on. Tiger King has 20 years left on his prison sentence. Also revealed that, quote, as bad as a job as President Biden is doing right now, and as bad as a job Trump did, because he's mad at Trump because Trump didn't let him out.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
I would vote for either one of those two before I would vote for Ron DeSantis.
Why? Just because he doesn't like meatball?
Was the Tiger King in Florida? Maybe he doesn't like Ron for some reason.
You know what?
I know there's a lot of gator stuff in Florida. Did that all go down in Florida?
That might
That's funny though. He'd vote for Ron DeSantis, or he'd vote for Joe Biden.
He is from Florida.
Over Ron DeSantis. Maybe that has something to do with it.
I think he'd vote for Joe Biden too because Joe Biden might have some leniency on sentencing.
Right. Not him.
Maybe so. Maybe Joe Exotic's part of it. Maybe he's part of it.
Well, again, he might be actually more of a viable presidential candidate than the actual president at this point because Biden's approval ratings have once again gone down. They sank to nearly their lowest point ever in March as the U.S. economy threatened disaster amid bank collapses and other economic struggles. Biden's approval rating currently sits at just 38%, a significant drop from his 45% approval in February. Biden himself appears unsure about whether he should remain president. That's the truth. While he and his office have long insisted that he, quote, intends to run in 2024, as we've said many times, Katie, he has never actually just said he's running.
No. Just
say it,
Come on, man.
The First Lady about a month ago was talking to reporters, like making fun of reporters, going, how many times does he have to say it before you believe it? Once. He has to say it once.
One time.
Just say it once. He hasn't done it yet. So, despite his office long insisting that he, quote, intends to run in 2024, he has yet to make a formal campaign announcement. Many commentators expected him to formally enter the race right after the State of the Union address. I remember all that talk, but that didn't happen. Some members of the Democratic Party have expressed concern with the president's age, calling for younger blood to lead the party's ticket in 2024. Biden would be 82 by Inauguration Day in 2025. Biden has not had a positive approval rating since August of 2021. His numbers hit the lowest point of his presidency in July of 2022. That was when gas prices were at their record high. At that point, he had a 36% approval rating. In March, the results that were just released, 38%. So nearly as low as his lowest ever. 38% approval rating for President Joe Biden in the month of March.
Oh, my gosh.
That is pathetic. So maybe the Tiger King's got a chance.
I feel like whenever we talk about Joe Biden, there is no way that he's going to have – there is no way that he is going to ever have high approval ratings.
No.
Like, that cannot be a possibility.
I just can't imagine anybody voting for him. I understand people that hate Donald Trump. I get why you don't vote for Donald Trump. I get it. I just don't know how you can vote for Joe Biden.
I don't know if I'm mentally prepared. I don't know if I'm mentally prepared to think about Joe Biden versus Trump again. Like, I don't know if I'm, like, there yet to think about those two people
I'm here
again.
for the debates. We're still owed a couple, I think.
That's true.
All right, we are going to get our weekly dose of common sense financial advice, plus get a little insight on the latest Fed rate increase from Jason Thornton, JT, the host of Pocket Watching with JT. Will join us in a moment here on Colombo and Katie on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Past the places where you used to learn. You howl and listen.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Hello, and it's me back with you to remind you that if you need to raise money for an organization, especially going into the springtime, a lot of those spring sports and activities starting back up, maybe your kids belong to a baseball team or, need money for equipment or travel or whatever it may be, or you just need to raise money for your church or your school, TJ's Pizza Fundraising is there for you. As they have been for decades, they have raised millions, tens of millions of dollars for their customers in the time that they have been around because they have great customer service. They offer huge profit margins, but most importantly, they have great products. TJ's Pizzas and the pies and the cookies and the cookie dough, all of that is just a superior product, and that is why you can raise big money fast with a TJ's Pizza fundraiser. If you're ready to raise money for your school or church or organization, get started now. Raise money now at tjspizza.com.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. President Biden will be in Canada with a focus on big global issues. Two important areas of agreement already appear in hand. Canada will escalate its timeline for military upgrades to the North American Aerospace Defense Command, and the two nations will reach an agreement on migration. A New York prosecutor has rebuffed House Republicans' request to turn over documents in the Stormy Daniels case.
The Manhattan District Attorney investigating Donald Trump said no to the GOP request. His office called the effort an unprecedented inquiry into an ongoing probe. In a letter obtained by the AP, the general counsel for Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg admonished the congressional requests as an unlawful incursion into New York's sovereignty.
White House correspondent Greg Cluxton. Also at townhall.com, House lawmakers grilled TikTok CEO Shou Zi-Chew over the company's relationship with communist China and its consumer privacy and data security practices. Correspondent Edwin Mora has more on the story.
Republicans and Democrats in the House Energy and Commerce Committee on Thursday rejected assertions by TikTok CEO that the social media giant is not beholden to the Chinese government.
I have seen no evidence that the Chinese government has access to that data. They have never asked us. We have not provided.
Well, you know what?
I
find that actually preposterous.
Republican Chairwoman Kathy Rogers from Washington State warned that TikTok is a weapon of the Chinese Communist Party.
TikTok is a weapon by the Chinese Communist Party to spy on you, manipulate what you see, and exploit for future generations. A ban is only a short-term way to address TikTok, and a data privacy bill is the only way to stop TikTok.
Edwin Mora, Capitol Hill.
Stocks finishing higher, the Dow up 102 points, the NASDAQ ahead 117 today. More of these stories at townhall.com.
Dennis Prager here. Sue and I mean it when we say dogs are part of our family. We love Otto and Snoopy so much, and there's nothing like their loyal companionship. So we provide them with Rough Greens, R-U-F-F, because we want them to feel healthy and be with us as long as possible. I know Charlie Kirk feels the same way.
The Pragers and I couldn't agree more. I rely on my trusted furry friend, Mr. Briggs, who's an absolute machine, and he relies on me to provide what's best for him. Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black has packed Rough Greens, not a dog food, but a supplement full of vitamins, minerals, digestive enzymes, and omega oils that Mr. Briggs absolutely needs and loves. Trying Rough Greens for your dog just makes sense.
Greetings, Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black here. I'm honored that the Pragers and Charlie trust their dog's health to Rough Green. I'm so confident that Rough Green can help your dog too that I'm offering you a free Jumpstart trial bag. Just cover the shipping. Yes, dog food is dead food, but it doesn't have to be. Go to ruffgreens.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Temperatures have already topped off in the 60s this morning. We'll be dropping into the 50s late this afternoon and this 40s by this evening, accompanied by some showers and thunderstorms, and some locally heavy rain is possible. Overnight lows tonight, much colder, down into the upper 30s, and a high tomorrow of only 47 degrees with scattered showers and a few thunderstorms. It does look drier for the weekend. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
So when we are looking at a forecast like we are right now with these next 2 days looking like they're going to be full of rain, for somebody that has a gutter issue in their home, which is something that we have been dealing with our new home, that could get a little scary because you don't want an excess of water to create a problem where it's leaking into your house because you don't have proper drainage from your gutters. So that is why we are currently working with and so happy to have found the great pros at Gutter Pros. We just had Dave Sylvester from Gutter Pros on the show on Monday. Go back and check out the podcast if you missed that conversation. Gutter Pros is your all-in-one gutter service team. They bring years of experience and quality that's affordable right to your doorstep. And as I mentioned, we are currently working with Dave and his team at Gutter Pros to fix the dented gutters on our home that were there when we moved in. It's been it's one of those things that right when you move in your house, you know that this is going to be something that you have to address as soon as you can. And when we met the great team at Gutter Pros, it was such a weight off of our chest that we know that this is being taken care of at a very high level by professionals that are great and easy to work with, and it's affordable. So whether you need leaf protection, repair, new gutter installation, you can get free estimates just by calling Gutter Pros, so you know exactly what you're getting into and you know exactly what to expect when you are working with them. Take advantage of those free estimates. Give them a call now at 314-656-7195 or just visit gutterpros.com.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD.
Welcome back to Colombo Katie on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL, just after 3 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon, which means it is time to check in with the host of Pocket Watching with JT, which you can hear every Friday night at 8 o'clock here on News Talk STL. Jason Thornton joins us. JT, thanks as always for your time this afternoon. How's it going?
Doing great. Great to hear from you.
Yeah, back at you. So a lot going on. We're right smack dab in the middle of tax season. I imagine that keeps you incredibly busy. But also we had this situation with the Fed rate hike. Let's start there. I know that that your show and what you deal with on a daily basis with the clients that you're working with is more focused on day-to-day operations and how to create a budget to get you through your day. But I would imagine that this story, this has trickle-down impact on every American when the Fed makes a decision like this. Could you give us your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it should not be a surprise to anyone who has been paying attention. But if you're not a finance geek like myself, you're probably not paying attention. But the Fed has been warning us that they will continue to increase interest rates so that they can combat inflation. And they said that they understand that it's going to impact families because we are going to see, unemployment on the rise, and we're going to see less production, less sales of goods and services, but that's all in the long-term plan of trying to cut back and slow down inflation.
So I know that if somebody is currently attempting to buy some property or something like that this is something that is going to impact them because it's going to raise their interest rates, and in the long run, they'll be paying more. But other than an example like that, what are some ways that when the Fed makes this decision that it impacts everyday folks?
Well, first we got to come from the standpoint of we live in an economy that is built upon debt. I mean, the average way that we think about how a normal household operates is not reality. Reality is that most people operate on debt. Most businesses operate on debt. When you see a lot of growth in the economy, it's probably because borrowing money is cheap. So you have businesses that can buy new equipment, they can service more clients, they can hire more people. When we start to see interest rates go up, meaning the cost of borrowing money is more, you're going to see businesses cut back. You're going to see individuals cut back on buying the goods and services from the businesses. And you're going to see those businesses, in turn, lay people off because there's not enough work to service all these employees. So it trickles all the way down to you're going to see higher unemployment. You're going to see people, and when higher unemployment goes up, you're also going to see crime go up. When you have less jobs and available cash in the environment, you're going to see people who are going to be evicted. You're going to see homes being foreclosed on. You're also going to see cars being repossessed. But all of this is based upon the fact that far too many people live their lives off of debt. If you do the boring stuff that I tell you and buy things with cash, stay within a budget, this won't affect you as much.
Jason, are we also seeing this interest rate hike because they would like us to, the Federal Reserve would like us to gain confidence in our banking system again, because we saw the collapse of what happened last week of these three major banks? Does that have a role to play in an increase for the interest rate?
Not really. I mean, it may be a byproduct of it, but no.
Okay.
The increase of the interest rate is trying to cool off inflation. The building confidence in our banking system, that comes from FDIC insurance. That comes from trying to make sure that people understand that up to $250,000 is going to be guaranteed by the Fed. But you have these banks who are making risky loans on, speculative markets, and they were able to do it because the cost of money was so cheap, and everybody looks like a genius in a bull market where everything's going up. But when the stuff hits the fan and we realize that a lot of these crypto businesses were backed by nothing, a lot of this stuff was just hype, Well, you got to run on a bank, and a lot of people want their money back, and the bank did not have enough money to pay everyone.
Talking to Jason Thornton, certified financial planner, host of Pocket Watching with JT, which you can hear tomorrow and every Friday, 8 o'clock here on News Talk STL. And JT, before we run out of time, as we mentioned, we are right smack dab in the middle of tax season. What is your message to folks as they figure out, this year's tax code and who to work with and all of the issues that come along with tax season? What's your message to those folks before we wrap up?
The number one thing I would say is you either need to file your tax return or you need to file an extension. I know there's a lot of people who may have got bad news from their tax preparer that says that they owe some money, and instead of filing the return, you're trying to figure out what you can do. Listen, the IRS has a 10-year statute of limitations to go after you for a tax debt, but that's only when you file. If you do not file, penalties and interest will go up and up and up, and the statute of limitation never starts. So at bare minimum, you need to file an extension before the deadline next month, or just file the return, set up a payment plan. But when you put it off because you think it's too much for you to pay back, you're actually hurting yourself.
Great stuff. Great information as always. And you can get more great information from JT every Friday at 8 o'clock. Pocket Watching with JT here on News Talk STL. Also, weekly episodes. You can check out the YouTube channel, Pocket Watching, on YouTube to be a part of it there as well. And JT, before we let you go, as always, for people that haven't had a chance to check out the show yet, remind them what it's all about.
Absolutely. It is a call-in financial talk show. You get to ask a certified financial planner your financial questions so that I can help you out. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just want you to live your best financial life with common sense financial tips.
Absolutely. And follow Pocket Watching on YouTube and tune in every Friday night at 8 o'clock for Pocket Watching with JT. JT, as always, thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon, my friend.
All right. You have a good one.
You too. All right. I do want to get into some more light, fun stories before we wrap up the show, but I got one more here. Do you have a story before we move into? All right, I'm going to do this one, and then we will move into a little bit more fun, lighter stuff. Jan Elementary is expected to officially not reopen, according to the Hazelwood School Board. A report from a consulting firm in October showed radioactive waste contaminating at Jana Elementary School. The school sits close to Coldwater Creek, which, as you guys, if you're not familiar with the story, from 1942 to 1957, uranium used for atomic bombs was processed in downtown St. Louis. In 1957, the production of uranium was moved to a facility in Weldon Springs in St. Charles County. That facility operated until 1966, and some of the waste from processing uranium was dumped near Lambert, which got into Coldwater Creek, which ran off into all of these places. And that is why Jan Elementary and so many people along that the route of Coldwater Creek in North County have been affected by this. After the report came out, students at Jan Elementary went to school virtually before they were transferred to different schools in the Hazelwood district. And now the announcement has been made by the Hazelwood School Board that they are not going to reopen Jana Elementary. So those kids are going to have to be divvied up, and yeah, that'll determine where all of that is going. So Jan Elementary, I guess, will now just be a vacant building.
Man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Interesting stuff. And always my connection to that story and to North County and to Coldwater Creek. I grew up playing in Coldwater Creek, as I have talked about before. So those stories always hit home to me, and we will continue to keep an eye on all of that as things develop. All right, as we mentioned yesterday, it was a rumor yesterday, but today it's official. The Chevy Camaro has been discontinued.
That is so crazy.
That is so crazy. They announced they're discontinuing it after the 2024 model because sales have dropped. The last one will roll off the production line next January.
Wow.
The original Camaro came out in 1966, which means it's been around for almost 60 years. And this isn't the first time they stopped making it. They hit the pause button for a while in 2003 before relaunching the brand in 2010. But, yeah, Chevy broke the news in a press release. GM and Chevy broke the news in a press release that said that they are not announcing a successor, but this is it. The Camaro is being discontinued. There's rumors that they may be plans to relaunch it as an electric car in a few years. So, like, discontinue the Camaro, go through the whole, like, retire, like, what, get all the press and news that we're giving them right now, and then in a few years, guess what's back? The Camaro. But it's an electric car.
We talked about this with Mark. I get it if no one's buying the Camaro. I get if they're like, no one's buying it. It's a classic car. We can remember the history of it, but we're discontinuing it because it's not making any money. Mm-hmm. But if they're purely doing this because they do believe that we need to make the transition to electric vehicles, then I do want to see the data of the people. I mean, like, I want to see, like, the profits of what a Camaro actually makes at a dealership. Yeah. I want to know, are people still buying it, and do they still love the car?
Yeah.
And if they don't, then okay, that's fine. That I get it. But if they do, and you're just doing it to go to EV to make that transition quicker, and you know what else? We talk about electric vehicles so much. Are those really popular? I mean, I know they're expensive, but are they wildly popular? Are people like, yes, that is something I want to invest my money in. It's $40,000 for a nice electric vehicle.
I don't think so, but I think that because of all of the threats, and in some places like California where there's an actual deadline on when you can sell
That's so crazy.
gas-powered cars, it's only like 7 more years in California that you can do that.
Wild.
I think that preemptively motivates car makers to switch to EV because they're afraid of what the government's going to do. Like, we better get all these cars switched over because they're coming for us.
Do you think that that's going to happen more? Like, we see it in California, but
I think in the end, as always, innovation and capitalism will prevail, and that we will get to a point, as we need to in this world, to switch to more green energies and not rely on gasoline and switch to electric and all that sort of stuff. But not because of some arbitrary government deadline or because of some political movement or political push by one of the parties. It's going to be done because somebody found a way to solve a problem and make it cheaper and be able to make some money off it themselves. And that's the basis of so many great inventions and world-changing events and products and things like that. And so I think that we will get there. But we will not get there. It will not be thanks to AOC and the Green New Deal or any fake deadline to make that change. But yeah, I mean, talk about the end of an era. No more Chevy Camaro, but maybe it will be back one day as an electric vehicle. We will.
I don't know if that will even be satisfying.
Will people? Is that what people would want out of a Camaro?
I think you pointed out yesterday, people like that rumble. People
yes.
like that. It's a sports car. It's a guy's car.
Mm-hmm.
People love that.
And girls like them too. We learned yesterday.
Come on.
We learned
come
yesterday.
On.
About Katie's affinity for Dodge Challengers. Dodge Challenger? Is that what it is?
Yes, it's a Dodge Challenger.
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
I just want to make sure I got it exactly right.
Don't ever say Charger. David will get.
Woo!
Not that he has anything against the Charger, but he's like, I got the Challenger.
Not a Charger. Got it. You a big beer drinker?
What do you think? What do you think? Hell yeah.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. That's
Let's go. Yeah, I do love beer.
Okay, here's a couple of beer stories that I'm not sure are very tantalizing, even for beer drinkers. Coors Light is releasing a new beer-flavored popsicle that's non-alcoholic.
No.
If you're going to do this, then at least make it boozy.
What?
Right? Make it bougie.
Make it boozy. Me like it.
Coors Light is making a limited edition beer-flavored popsicles. They're meant to coincide with March Madness They're non-alcoholic, so the whole family can enjoy them. Listen, the whole family's not going to enjoy them. Beer tastes like crap. I love beer. I love beer.
I still drink beer.
I still drink beer. I drink beer, love beer, still drink beer. But nobody drinks their first beer and is like, this is delicious. You may develop a taste for it over time.
Oh, certainly.
Nobody drinks that first one and is like, woohoo, this is, I could just guzzle this all day long.
And what?
So no kid is gonna have a beer flavored popsicle and be like,
yeah, mom and dad. And also, how do you feel about your 14 or 13-year-old being like, I would love the Bud Select tasting popsicle?
You're not giving
please.
minors beer flavored popsicles anyway. So
why would you do that?
Right?
It just, as a parent, I would never be like,
so
okay,
put the alcohol in there, Coors.
Come on. That would sell.
Go on to minors anyway.
That's like a slushie. That would sell.
I agree. Okay, so I don't know which one you're going to hate more. Beer-flavored popsicles or now powdered beer.
Powdered beer.
A German brewery that's been around since the 1500s has created this. It works the same way as instant coffee. You just mix it with water and stir.
No.
It's apparently not the first time someone's made powdered beer, but this one's carbonated, and that's a first. They claim it looks and tastes just like regular beer.
I think that is why are we messing up a good thing? Why are we messing up a good thing? Let beer be beer.
I guess you can bring a whole case of beer with you and just like a little jar.
Can. But like
this way, like
the chalkiness of it, I mean, no, there's no. And what breaks down the chalkiness to
this one is at least alcohol. At least this one's real beer. They do have a non-alcoholic version, but at least there's a real beer.
I feel like, so I am not like a protein shake kind of person because I can still taste the chalkiness of it no matter how much you mix it. But I think about whenever I put powdered creamer in my coffee, the only thing that takes away that chalkiness is because it's a hot boiling cup of coffee. What are you gonna do whenever you mix?
You want a hot boiling cup of beer?
A powdered beer, and be like, "This is great." When you're tasting chunks, like when chunks are going down your esophagus, it's like, I think I'm cool with. We always have a tendency to ruin things that are good. Just let it be.
And I'm not sure I see the problem that we're solving. Get, like I just said, I get that you could carry a whole bunch of more beer. Like if you need 10 cases of beer, and that's easier to put it in a powder and concentrate and carry it in a jar rather than trying to lug 10 cases of beer. But what scenario does that solve? Are you going to be in the woods for months and months and you want to make sure you can get blasted every night? So I can't put 10 cases of beer in my backpacks, but I can put this
powder.
Like, okay, there's one scenario that it's helpful. How many people are in that scenario, and what other scenario would you possibly need that you can't just go get a bunch of beer?
I just think it's so dumb.
Yeah, I don't understand the problem we're solving, and you're right. There is no possible way that tastes anything but nasty.
No, nasty. Absolutely nasty.
All right, what's not nasty? That is a terrible transition, as our podcast doesn't make any sense.
It is nasty. Because it starts off with...
But it's that time. Yeah, that's true.
Me likey. Me likey.
If you're going to download a podcast of a show, today's show is probably the one to do. If you haven't started yet, this is probably the good one to start with because you get the me likey at the beginning.
That's going to be the title, too.
Absolutely. So as we get ready to hand things off to the Tim Jones and Chris Arp Show, don't forget that we will be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock with Colombo and Katie. And that in the meantime, you can always subscribe to our podcast, which is available on just about every podcast platform, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Google, many, many more. Just subscribe to us on whatever your favorite platform is. We put the show out as a podcast shortly after we get off the air every day, so you never have to miss anything that happens here. Also, don't forget that you can subscribe to the Colombo and Katie YouTube channel as well, while it's there at least. And you can watch the show every day as well as listen along. And don't go anywhere. The Tim Jones and Chris Arp Show coming in now to take you through the rest of your Thursday afternoon. Thank you so much for listening to us and supporting us here at 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Entertain us, I'm the stupid.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
The Republican race for president might get a new candidate soon, and it may surprise you who that is. We'll talk about it on Friday.
Mornings starting at 5:30 on News Talk STL. This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
It is official. Arkansas Republican Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders signing legislation that says if you're a boy in a public school, you have to use the boys' restroom. You're a girl, you use the girls' restroom. If that's the way you were born, that's the restroom you use. That makes Arkansas the fourth state to have such a bill. More than 24 bathroom bills have been filed in 17 states. Now, the law similarly enacted already in Alabama, Oklahoma, and Tennessee. Lawsuits are challenging Oklahoma and Tennessee. Bills in Idaho and Iowa are pending signatures from their governors. And in Arkansas, those who are upset with Huckabee Sanders signing off on that bill say, well, they're singling out transgenders for no other reason because they dislike and disapprove. No, they're actually protecting children. Protecting children. We don't want a boy who claims, today I feel transgender, going into a girl's restroom and maybe assaulting girls. And it has happened, as we warned you it would. You know, on all this whole basis, my director, Quentin, pointed out, he said, in the future years, they're going to uncover bones, 500 years, 1,000 years from here. They're going to look at the bones, and they're going to be able to look at those bones and say, that was a male and that was a female. He's absolutely correct.
For more, listen to the Larry Connors USA Daily Report tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
Hundreds of homeowners and businesses had or will have water main breaks. Wellington Environmental has a warning. You can clean up the water, but if you're not checking areas where the water leaked in the walls where you can't see it, you could end up exposing your family